All right, folks, we are up to fly number 18 of 21 from Mike Valla's Tagging the Founding Flies. This one is Fran Betters, The Usual. Now, he came up with this pattern probably sometime in the 1940s. He was a fly tyer upstate New York, fished the Ausable, the Adirondacks region, and he tied this as really just an experimental pattern, a one material pattern out of snowshoe hare's foot. He said he had half a dozen of them in his shop and nobody was buying them until a guy named Bill Phillips came in and bought them all. And Phillips said they did really well for him, and anytime anybody asked him what he was fishing, he just said, "Oh, the usual." So Betters originally called the fly the Phillips Usual, but it kind of got shortened to just the usual is what we know it as today. Now, I love a pattern like this because it's pretty easy to tie and just so shaggy looking that if you mess it up, you can just say, "I meant to do that." Now, Valla says this thing can be tied from a 12 to a 22. I don't know anybody that could tie this little shaggy thing on a 22. The one you're about to see, I'm tying this one on a size 12, but I did tie a handful of 14s for my spring brook trout box. But this thing is definitely a founding fly and a pretty cool pattern. I think y'all are gonna like it. So there it is in the vise, Fran Betters, The Usual, tied pretty much in the original dressing. Snowshoe hare's foot and fluorescent orange thread. Now, per Valla, sizes for this thing are 12 to 22. I cannot imagine tying this thing on a 22. That's a size 12 standard length barbless dry fly hook. And I have stepped my thread up to a 140 denier in fluorescent orange. We'll just catch this in close to the front, bring it back here to the start of the bend. And for the tail, a small to medium sized tuft of the snowshoe hare's foot. So let's take a couple wraps and then check it. Okay, I'm happy with that. So another one to secure it. And I'll put these wraps going forward pretty close together. We're going to, fill this whole underbody with orange here before we're done. But go ahead and take it up front, maybe a third of the way back. Now we take another tuft of the same snowshoe hare's foot. This one might be a little bit bigger and a little bit longer. So bigger in that it's longer and thicker. I'm going to spin my thread clockwise, cord it up, so I can immediately go into a tight binding wrap. So let's put a couple of those on. Okay, I think that's going to be fine. I don't have so much in the back that I can't just bury it, which will, thicken up our body a little bit. These flies do kind of have a sort of thick body, but notice I'm putting a good bit of thread wraps down there to give that underbody some color. Now with my thread right up behind this wing, I'm going to pull it up and then several wraps up under it. I'm going to prop it up, not quite 90 degrees. It'd be hard to prop it 90 degrees anyway. So I'm going to prop it almost as much as I can get it, and it's going to go a little bit forward, and that's pretty good. You can be pretty close to the eye because we don't have a whole lot going on in front of it. Now look at what the fish is going to see. See how that is kind of spread out? That's really what we want. You might be tempted, and I do this with a lot of my wolf flies, take a wrap up over it and then just bunch this up right here and go like that. See, if you do that, now your post is kind of sticking straight up. In this fly, you don't really want that, so I'm not going to do that. Kind of want it a little bit spread out like that right there. Okay, I think we're fine with that one. Now let's take our thread back to the front of this tail, put some wax on it. Now just took a clump of underfur from that same snowshoe hare's foot, and we're going to dub this on. And you can put this on kind of thick. So I'll just lick my fingers here, or not my fingers, just dip my fingers on this ball. One of these things Gary sent me. If you've never seen this, it's a pretty cool little tool for keeping your fingers wet without having to lick them all the time. Okay, that noodle is about 1.5 inches. We'll see if that's going to get me up there. So I'm putting this on, and after a couple wraps, I might try to tighten it back up again. Okay, well that got me up there, but I want a little bit more up in front of that wing. Okay, I think that's going to work. I'm going to go one more behind it and then finish my last few wraps right up here in front of this. Okay, I think that's going to be fine, but part of the fly is having a little bit of an orange head. So I'm going to spin a few wraps right here and building up my head without clobbering the eye. But kind of a little hot spot, so to speak, right there. Now let's do a quick whip finish. So there we go. Any cleanup on a fly like this? Yeah, not at all. Just a drop of head cement, harden up that head, and we are good to go. So that's it, my friends. I appreciate you watching. Y'all take care, and we'll see you next time.